This one technique is the reason why your drawings don't look as clean as you want them to be. I'm not exaggerating. Once I learned how to hatch properly, my drawings instantly looked better. And today I'm going to show you the basics, the exercises I still use today, and at the end we'll make an artwork together, step by step. So stay with me because the final part is something that nobody teaches. I learned hatching at art school, and at the beginning I didn't know where to start at all, but by practicing these tips that I will share with you today, I finally learned how to do it. What do you need? The basics, there are 3 types of materials that we will discuss today. So the first one is a pencil, and it's important for your pencil that it is sharp. So sharpen it frequently. Hatching is about drawing lines. It's not about shading. Lift your pencil up each stroke and don't use it like a crayon. We are not coloring the artwork. Second material is a pen or a ballpoint. Honestly, any smooth writing pen is fine. You should just avoid scratchy or inconsistent ink pens, otherwise your artwork will look a bit messy. Then the third one is fineliner. Here there are a few different thicknesses. I would recommend when you're starting off with your drawing to use 0.2 millimeters or 0.3 millimeters. This is a perfect thickness. When it comes to the lighter parts, I would suggest to use a 0.1 or 0.05 millimeter pen. So now that we got our basic materials, the next thing is the essential hatching technique. Number 1 is diagonal or parallel hatching. With this technique, you draw lines in one clean direction. It's important that you space them evenly. Then there is cross hatching. So you will start one layer in one direction, and you will add another layer on top, and this will be on a different angle. So you can add as many layers as you want. Just understand that the more layers you add, the darker your drawing will get. Then the third one is contour hatching. Here we follow the shape of the form. So with this technique you really create that 3D effect. So for example, with a sphere form you're going to have more rounder edges, and when it comes to, for example, a triangle, you will have very straight hatching. So then part 3, pro tips from pros. So here are just going to be a little list of a lot of tips that can help you out. So the first tip would be to rotate your page while you're drawing. This will just make things a bit easier. So you can just keep your hand movement very natural. The second tip is to layer your hatching. Don't go too dark too fast. You really want to layer this. Another tip is to hold your pen or pencil at a slight angle. That way it will just be easier to hatch. Use shorter hatches when you're drawing in a corner. You can use longer hatches when you're, for example, drawing a curve. Also, wobbly lines are ok. It's better to make clean wobbly lines than force yourself to make perfect straight lines. That's totally fine if lines aren't perfect. But if you want to work on your line drawings, then here in the next segment, practice drills that actually work. The first exercise is parallel line drills. With this exercise, you need to draw straight lines all over your page. Learn how to draw straight lines is basically just practice. I remember in art school that I had to make a ton of pages with just straight lines. It really is, the more you practice, the better you will get at it. So for some tips, it's important that you really use your whole arm. So you just go with your arm movement from the shoulder, and it will just help you be a bit more confident in drawing straight lines. Also, another tip is to sometimes follow also the edges of the paper as well. It really helps me when I focus on that, because then it will be like a perfect parallel line. In general, it's important to, of course, be able to draw in every angle. So just take a page and just draw as many lines as you can. Once you feel like your lines are looking good, we can go on to the next exercise. So now we're going to hatch within 2D shapes. Draw a triangle, a rectangle, or just like a blob shape. Try to hatch within this space. This will help you to control your lines, and you will see that some of your hatching lines won't be the same length. This will really help you to control and get a better understanding of drawing within a space. If that is working out, you can do another exercise. This is 3D form shading. So I love this exercise in art school. So basically you draw a circle and then we're going to draw an oval on the top and also one downstairs under the circle. So with this exercise we want to make it 3D. So how do we do this? You basically hatch in the direction and the shape of the circle. Also basically first do one layer, and this needs to be very light. Once you have your first layer, you will add another layer. This second layer you will only do at the spaces where it's a little bit darker, but not the lightest part. So once you've hatched that, then we really want to go into these really dark places and hatch with another layer. And you will see that you will also get a better understanding on how to layer hatching as well. And at the end, you will get your 3D shape. And then the last exercise is also a little fun exercise. You can make a texture page. Draw different squares. Going to fill this with cross hatching, regular hatching, triplet. You can make messy lines. So this page is also just to experiment a bit and just be a fun little exercise. Now we're going to the real work, and that is to make your first own hatching artwork. Step number 1 is that you want to pick a picture. You can choose a landscape, a scenery that you really like, and then the next step is to turn it into black and white. We don't want to divide it in different shades of gray. For landscape, you can actually see 3 different layers, and I will show you this as well. So we have a light shade of gray, we have medium, and then we have very dark. Step number 2 is frame and contour. Draw the landscape. You want to draw contour of the landscape. So if you're new to drawing, you can just use a ruler and actually just draw it yourself. If you're a bit more advanced, I can also teach you this as well. Basically, you just measure with your pencil the rectangle of your landscape, and then you can just draw it easily over. So once you have the contour of your drawing, we want to draw this in a pencil. This is the easiest way. Even if you're not going to hatch in a pencil, drawing just a landscape with a pencil is just the easiest way, because if you're just going to freestyle on your paper, then this will just stress you out. Number 3 is to hatch in layers. We want to start very lightly with hatch. First, for the first step is hatch very lightly. You don't want to press too hard on your pencil, fineliner, ballpoint. You want to do this very lightly. So once you did your first layer, we're then going to the second layer. The second layer, you're only going to draw medium over the dark part. So the light part we're not going to touch anymore. Once you did your second layer, you're going to do a third layer. And with this third layer, you're only going to go over the dark layer. Your artwork should be done, and I promised I would give a final tip at the end. So this is the best advice that I got. Stop rushing your hatching. If you take your time and really focus on line spacing and consistency, even with like simple shapes, your drawing just will look very professional. And by that I mean, when you're drawing, for example, the darkest shade, sometimes people will tend to take the thickest fineliner and just really hatch that part that is the darkest, but that way your drawing just won't look good. So really take your time with hatching. So that was it for today's video. I hope that I helped you out with hatching. I think hatching is definitely in my top favorite techniques of drawing. The time and also the patience that you have with your drawing is very rewarding, because at the end you will have this amazing result. It's just really about being very patient with it. So I hope that I could help you with these exercises, that you will improve your hatching, and maybe you can also make your first artwork as well through this video. So definitely let me know in the comments what tip helped you the most, or what exercise you really want to try out. I definitely love the one with the 3D shape. I always used to draw circles even during theoretical classes, because I just love this technique. Let me know below. Also, I launched my first Fiverr gig. I will link down below. If you want any artwork on commission, you can send me a message over there. Definitely check out my other videos about drawing. I think I'm just starting this new series where I'm teaching you all about drawing, because I love it so much. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!